everybody, and welcome back to the Drive Pink Dialogue. It is still game action, but we're about 10 seconds away from VAR overturning an offsides call that gives Inter Miami a 2-1 lead. It is Chelo's finest moment. Absolutely onside, an incredible moment for Inter Miami, for Chelo Wagon. It is Lionel Messi with the game-winning assist instead of the goal this time, but it is going to be 3 huge points for Inter Miami. Now listen, there's still 30 seconds, maybe a minute left in this game that they will have to play out, or maybe even less, but I was too excited. I couldn't wait until the game actually ended. And there it is, the final whistle. Inter Miami pulls off the last-minute winner in an unbelievable finish. It looked like they had almost cost themselves not just this game, but an incredible foothold in this tournament by giving up a goal in the 80th or so minute. But then in the 95th minute, they get the opening they needed. It's Suarez forward to Messi, and then Messi over to Chelo, who by hook or by crook gets the ball in the back of the net. It's called offsides by VAR. I'm sorry, by the referee, but VAR checks it, and for once, Inter Miami is given a huge boost by the officials in the VAR room. He is onside, and Inter Miami gets a 2-1 win over Atlas to kick off the League's Cup. It is the first regulation victory by an MLS team in this tournament, and that feels good. Inter Miami wins 2-1. I'm your host, Scotty. We will be joined shortly by my co-host, Saur. Inter Miami gets the 2-1 win. I'm still buzzing, so give me a second to calm down and collect my thoughts. Hard game, very difficult game, I thought, from both sides. There seemed to be a magnet between the ball and the goal that was pushing the ball away from goal. Lots of missed shots in terms of inaccurate shots by both sides. Rocco Rios Novo had, I thought, his best game at Inter Miami by far. I thought the defense played pretty well up until the one goal that Atlas scored. Creatively, they were able to do a lot. Suarez and Allende had a ton of chances to open up this game in an expansive way, but weren't able to make it happen. That's how it goes sometimes. But I think the biggest takeaway is Inter Miami finds a way to get 3 points with a 95th minute winner. As Saur is about to join us. What'd you think, my friend?
Oh, bloody hell, eh? I'm sorry I'm late because I was preparing for the penalties. And then I didn't realize that we actually won the game. So, wow. That was a game and a half. Defense is terrible, atrocious, awful, woeful. I have a lot of comments for that. But we won the game. We got the 3 points. Now we're top of the table on the MLS side, which is all that we could ask for. It was hard and it was difficult, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
You know, it's weird because yeah, but that's exactly what I said. It's interesting because it didn't feel like to me like Inter Miami was dominating the game for the entire game. It felt like Atlas also had their chances, but Inter Miami was just very wasteful. Inter Miami was very wasteful, I thought, with their chances, but I thought Atlas was the same way, and so we both predicted a 4-2 result. I think based on the chances that were available to both teams in this game, 4-2 looked pretty realistic, and instead we get a 2-1 victory, and both of Inter Miami's 2 goals are you're at the 6-yard box and you kind of have to force and fight your way to put the ball on net. A couple beautiful moments to get the opportunity set up. Sergio Busquets, by the way, that pass to set up the first goal division
it was beautiful.
It's world class. That's all I would talk about if this game had ended in the 75th minute, because it was beautiful. The last moment I also thought was pure class, and I don't know if you've had a chance to watch the replays yet, but Suarez to Messi, and then Chelo getting the job done is
No,
what I would
I
call it.
watched
But
it
was
live. I was just mentally, I was in a state where I was like, okay, I'm going to take some time after this and wait for the penalties. I watched it happen live. That was a beautifully constructed goal. I thought Messi would actually take it first time and finish it off,
I did
but
too.
he passes it off to Cello. And then obviously the offside call was incorrect and correctly so. And both goals were beautifully constructed. I think there was a lot of nuance to it, and everything good that happened was those intricate passes between Inter Miami. I thought the substitutions were quite bad from Javier Mascherano. I don't understand why he takes Segovia off. I wanted to tweet this while the game was happening, and I said Segovia has cemented himself as a top 3 player on this team right now. The influence and the impact that he has, even with Rodrigo de Paul in the team, when I thought that Segovia might get overshadowed, he's brilliant. And the moment he comes off, you can just see us lose control, the inability to just connect passes properly in the midfield. And you bring on Redondo, and it just completely takes away any impetus to push forward. And I did not like it at all. But I think Inter Miami had some really good front play. First half, we didn't have anything in the front of goal. Second half, I thought it got much better. Atlas for a long time was 50-50 toe-to-toe with Inter Miami. Their game plan was very simple. Disrupt. They didn't let Inter Miami play with any rhythm, caught us in the counter as quickly as possible, and honestly could have come away with a point or 2 points if they won the penalty.
I think they had one flaw in their game plan, and was we're going to shoot from 25 yards every time and test the goalkeeper. Rocco was up to the challenge, and I want to give him a lot of credit. He had a really nice save in the first half.
So good. To his left, Atlas, down low.
Yeah. Atlas, though, I think they saw it was a third-string goalkeeper, and they were like, we're going to pepper him with shots. And I think we saw in the 80th minute, man, if you get into the box and you try and make it difficult for the defenders, you can score goals. And so I think the defense kind of got bailed out a couple of times by the fact that they've blasted it from 25 yards
and
out.
You could see the moment they got in the box and put bodies in the box.
I know.
Falcone, Chelo, Lujan had no clue how to deal with it. They were like floundering chickens in the middle of the box trying to get the ball away. And that goal came just exactly that way. You mentioned it to me offline. Every single one of them culpable for that goal. Chelo Wegan would have been my heron that flew north award if he hadn't got that last minute goal.
Okay, let's get to the chat. Cynical Tube says, Chelo, exclamation point. That was his best moment in Inter Miami, his most impactful moment in Inter Miami. And I almost think it absolves him of every other ill.
It does.
Because he just maybe kept Inter Miami in this tournament. He may, that may be the difference between us advancing and
Absolutely.
not. So, just pure flowers for Chelo Wegan after this performance. And listen, sometimes a goal is all that matters. Sometimes, we don't talk about this a lot with defensive players because of all the responsibility and expectation to be perfect the other way. But strikers know this well. A goal can absolutely change your performance, and that's what Chelo found out in this game. It was his finest moment, and I don't even want to talk about the other 94 minutes because the only one that counted, he was there in the right spot at the right time.
And that's what I'm trying to say. I was so ready to just come on the podcast and just hammer some of these players with the way the result would have gone. Even if we won through penalties, I was ready to criticize. And now I have to change an entire assessment of Chelo Wegan that I noted down, and I might have to give him an award tomorrow, which would not be corresponding to what I'd initially thought. So well done to him for being in that position. Don't know what he was doing there, but finished it off well enough, and glad that he got there. So good for him. Really got it done in the end.
Of course, Cynical follows that up with Chelo got so lucky. He was on sides. That was absolutely the right call, and I'm very thankful that it feels like for the first time in a long time, the refereeing or the VAR kind of came to the rescue of Inter Miami because it feels like we haven't gotten the benefit of the doubt a lot. Anton says, what a finish. The other thing that I liked is it felt when Messi first got here, like they always had a moment of magic. And we saw this time and time again over the end of 2023 and beginning of 2024. they had a goal in them in the 92nd minute or the 88th minute or the 93rd minute. And it hasn't always felt like that in 2025. I was thinking of like the Galaxy goal at the beginning of 2024 season where they were getting beat up that entire game, crushed in transition. But when they needed it, Messi and Suarez combine and get that goal in the 86th minute. This is what that felt like. It was like, we have the magic moment at the death if we need it. Oh, and by the way, here it is. And they get it. I'm still buzzing from the finish.
I'm disoriented because I was
finish.
so ready. I was going to talk about Suarez as well, and now I can't say anything about him because he got that beautiful pre-assist to Messi's assist and then Chelo's goal. I'm a little disoriented. I don't understand exactly what just happened. So let's just proceed with the chat because I don't know what to say about some of the players.
That's exactly the thing about Suarez, though, right? Is that you can leave him on for the one magic moment.
I don't like it,
that's
man.
Exactly what it is,
it's
right?
So bad. He was terrible for so long, like playing so deep. And some of the chances that he had, he just completely booted them out of the park. And then one opportunity, he hit the post, obviously, which was really
okay. Hold on, let me stop you for a second because the Devon Knit says, "Look at what it means to Messi." And I just turned to my TV. We go live as soon as the game ends, so we don't always see their reactions. But he's doing an interview right now, and I will just say, the last time he did an interview, Inter Miami went on an awesome run that included going deep into the Club World Cup or exceeding expectations of the Club World Cup. So maybe he's trying to pull that again, and that would be awesome. I agree with you. I think this was like a disorienting turn of events, but ultimately for the better. And I'm much more, I'm smiley now instead of being upset and frustrated. So Tarek says, Chelo, I wasn't familiar with your game. Anton says, I was mad Fafa hadn't come in instead of Crema, but it all works out.
No, that was Kremaski coming on was 100% right.
I thought the Redondo one
was
the problem. But it was also Kremaski by himself, or like it just, I don't know.
Makes no sense.
I agree.
Where's Yannick Bright, man? Come on. Also, Kremaski was very good when he came on, just to emphasize that point.
I agree. But again, it's two substitutes when everyone's tired and exhausted, and DePaul hasn't trained with the team yet. He goes 90 minutes. He was.
I don't know why.
You could see in the first half.
Yeah, he was. He started off really like quick and pacey, and you could see he's looking fantastic. And then his involvement and pace got limited. So
Anton says excellent, but should have been easier. Absolutely, and I don't want to be negative. We could save that for 20 minutes from now, but like I think there was some real like, okay, maybe this is going to be a real challenge to go deep in this tournament.
No, I agree. I think there's a lot that Rodrigo de Paul alone cannot fix. This team has a terrible defense. They have no.
Okay, let's wait 20 more minutes. Okay, I want to enjoy the winner still for a few more minutes. Gabriella says last minute winner is so exciting. Naya says, and I'm assuming this is before you got here, Saur is going to be over the moon.
I'm still confused. By the way, DePaul is talking, and he's so good looking. I like he looks like young Beckham. Just want to point that out. Good for him, man. Good for him.
I have no comment. Miami King says DePaul was solid. He just needs time. I do not want to judge this performance. I mean, he hadn't trained with the team. You could see.
Absolutely.
You could see the quality, but I also think we learned that he's not going to be by himself transformational for this team.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's maybe a conversation we'll come back to in a few minutes. Anton says Rios did well. Speaking of their finest moment, Rocco Rios Novo just had the game of his Inter Miami career without
Turn of the match?
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. That save down low was so good.
Calric says it shouldn't have been easy because Atlas is a gritty team. Never underestimate them. Did they play well?
I think Inter Miami for large parts played really well. And you mentioned
I'm sorry. I meant Atlas. Did Atlas play well?
I'll get to that. I think Inter Miami did a lot of what they wanted to do. And honestly, if we'd finished off some of the chances that we were creating, this could have been a very different game. But Atlas had a very gritty is the right word to use. Very combative game plan. They constantly disrupted. They eventually got into the game and utilized our defensive fallacies to get at us. So I think they stuck to their game plan and they did what they wanted to do. Quality wise, they weren't there, but they were really getting stuck in challenges, stopping the play when Inter Miami was trying to get into rhythm. So in that sense, I think they did well enough.
They weren't exceptional, and I think that's what we expected.
Yeah.
It was more of a style concern, and I think they stylistically showed what they were, that this was the right game plan. They created plenty of chances, just like Inter Miami could have, not to sound like Taylor Twellman, but Inter Miami could have scored 4 goals in this game. I think Atlas could have scored three or 4 maybe as well. Okay, going back to DePaul. What'd you think?
I liked his performance. I liked his performance over the course of 90 minutes. You can clearly see what he offers because in the first 10 minutes, he had a spark, which I think as he gets back into full fitness, he'll just explode. The line breaking passes are surely there. He's just a superior player to anything that we have in this midfield right now. And I think he's a more complete player next to Sergio Busquets. So he'll do a lot of what Sergio does, but also add that defensive element. I really like what he brings. He's not going to be the solution for every single problem. But I think he did what he was supposed to do. And I think eventually he'll be fantastic for this team.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a really promising, I thought he was good. And I think you could see a little bit, he's not used to the weather. He hasn't trained with a team, a little bit of where do I find the game? But I think all of that is going to come really quickly. And again, we're judging him off of exactly 0 team training sessions. So I thought
if that was the case, he fit in like a glove into this team.
Exactly. Sean says, how many Inter Miami fans are going to say how the refs are good? It was nice to get a call their way. I'm relieved to get it at the end because just the way things have gone, I just felt like there was a chance.
And it was a clear onside as well. So just to have that is very good. I didn't have an issue with the refereeing.
Nick Smith says Benjamin Redondo coming on instead of Bright is blasphemy. That's insane. Yeah.
You said no negativity, so I'm just going to not say anything.
Yannick Bright needs to learn Spanish, I think. Miami King says Suarez was good tonight. Not lucky, though.
Yes.
Is that because you're not bringing up any negativity?
Yes.
Well, let's combine these together because Anton says Allende was terrible touches. Those two were
yes.
Those two were really poor. I don't think there's any.
That was this one. That was this, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna laugh at it because at this point it's a joke. There was this one play where Segovia puts in this absolutely tantalizing ball straight into his feet. And I kid you not, Scotty, you could have finished that. It was beautiful. On a play, all he had to do was put his laces through it the first time, and he just passes it to the goalkeeper. And I was like, I wasn't even surprised.
That's the one where he bounces it off his shin, right?
Yeah.
I know. Here are the stats, by the way, and it's not like a blowout. It's 6 big chances for Miami. Inter Miami only finishing 2 out of 6 big chances is pretty surprising. Atlas had 4, 19 total shots for Miami, 15 for Atlas, 55% to 45% possession. So I think this game was like 55-45 Inter Miami.
Yeah.
Good enough to reasonably get a win, but also not like dominant, in my opinion. But Upcode says we mostly dominated that match, except for some missed chances. It should have been a bigger win. I thought it could have. I thought there was missed chances on both sides that could have made this a high scoring.
I agree.
Naya says Busquets with the assist. I know we talked about it, but that's the unicornness of a Busquets, of an Alba, of like these super world-class players, is that they have that type of thing in them. And we saw it with Suarez and Messi at the end too. But Busquets, this pass is just that one's also going on this Inter Miami
and never be replaced.
Reel. A, repeating, says Suarez should play as a false nine.
No, please,
What did you?
no,
Okay,
no,
what did
no,
you think
no,
of
no.
Suarez's positioning in this game?
I think I broke my TV. I was shouting at it because he was clogging up the space. He was clogging up the midfield by just playing. At one point, he was playing right next to Rodrigo de Paul. And I was like, you can't do that because you need somebody there to just stretch the line out. Somebody in the middle to be at the end of these crosses, at the end of these passes. I think he just plays too deep these days. I don't know why it is, because maybe he can't run that much, so he just wants to get it as involved as he can. And clearly, there are moments when he should drop deep to facilitate the play, like he did at the last minute. But you can't constantly do that for 90 minutes. And especially with Rodrigo de Paul coming in, who is going to play those line breaking passes, you need to clear out, you need to stretch the pitch out. So, yeah, not a big fan. Not a big fan of that false nine.
I think you nailed it. I think he's trying to find a way to be impactful, and if he's not going to get as many opportunities and as many guys around him, although that certainly wasn't an issue in this game. He's trying to adapt his game, and sometimes it's not that pretty. But listen, other times it works beautifully. So
Yeah.
Upcode says Segovia looked like he had a knock. He did look like he was limping off at the end, or maybe it was a cramp or something. Maybe he was just exhausted. But I definitely saw that. Pepto says Bright should have come on over Redondo and Crema. 1,000% agree. Okay. Excitement dying down a little bit. We get the 2-1 victory last minute. I think it was awesome. Upcode says, guys, DePaul's going to light up our team. Just watch. I think today, and you tell me if you disagree, I think today we learned that DePaul is a very talented player, but if all you do is put him on the field, he's not going to transform the team. You have to use him as a catalyst to make other changes that transform everything. And so I think if all we do is stick with this 4-4-2 and we just take out Redondo, Bright, Kremaski in that sort of double pivot and put in DePaul, we'll have wasted a tremendous opportunity here.
Absolutely. I think there's so much flavor in that midfield now that we can break this game apart, or like break opponents apart in multiple different ways. But there's also way too many vulnerabilities. Defensively, the forward line is just non-existent. The fact that Segovia is now catching up in terms of goals scored this season to our two forwards is a big damnation of where we are in terms of our forward line getting involved. Something needs to be tweaked, and Javier Mascherano needs to adjust. I think you and I both have been. No,
it feels
it's
like
yeah.
You got to use this to make real changes.
Changes across the pitch, yeah. And I think you and I have an idea. We've already spoken about this on our podcast about what we would like to see, but it's clearly an indication of he's not going to solve every single problem, and there needs to be more experimentation on how to get the best out of this roster.
Yes. And even if it doesn't come during the Leagues Cup, because I can understand not wanting to do something dramatic when you're in sort of must-win territory, I think it needs to come like as soon as we get back to MLS play. Miami King says the two center backs are bad. I want you to know, I'm a truther when it comes to Gonzalo Lujan. Some might call me a hater, but I was getting ready to come on here and say he had his best individual performance at Inter Miami. And then we scored, and Atlas started coming at us, and then it just went right back. Our three concerns on the back line are Chelo, Lujan, and Maxi Falcone. And all three of them combined to allow Atlas to tie this game in a really like MLS-y, unbelievably unfortunate way that made them all look bad. I think we pitch a clean sheet if Aviles and Allen start this game. And instead we had to get a 95th minute winner from Chelo.
Here's what my conclusion is. Lujan is going to be like Chelo. A good player.
I disagree. I
Sometimes,
disagree.
sometimes decent performances.
He's so much worse than Chelo. I can't even let you say that because he's so much worse.
Let's find a midpoint. Luhan is almost going to be like Chelo on this team, perhaps lower quality.
That's so mean to Chelo.
The problem is that's not what this backline needs. This backline cannot use two Chelos. We cannot. The quality just goes so far down a cliff. I thought he was fine, except for conceding that goal. I thought he was fine. I thought Maxi Falcone was fine, but that's not how you're going to win the trophy.
No, I agree. But also, I thought that was Gonzalo Lujan's very best game in Inter Miami. Like,
not
bar
a high bar.
Pepto says Saurisms are really funny.
What Saurisms do I use? Actually, this is a fun exercise. We should collect all the Saurisms and maybe at the end of the Leagues Cup, we should tally all of them.
Hash says, Allende, it is time to go. We've been saying this for a couple games now, but he's not good enough to get this many chances. And I can understand wanting to try and play a guy out of bad form, but that boat sailed like 3 or 4 games ago. Like, he needs to sit. He needs to sit. And what I will say is I thought it was encouraging that when Redondo came on, Segovia came off, DePaul went out wide to that sort of right side of midfield. It did kind of look like a 4-3-3 for a bit, but, you know, I think the fact that there's a world where DePaul plays out wide there, I think was nice. DePaul playing 90 minutes when he is in preseason form is questionable, says Josh.
Well, he's not in preseason form because he's just completed an entire season, but he's not entirely up to speed. You could see that too at the end. I think he should have come off for Redondo or Bright, obviously, but I think he'll take a couple of games to get up to speed. I don't think that should be an issue. Also, he didn't train, and he didn't look like he was out of place by any means. So I guess that's fine.
Yeah, well, I assume Atletico Madrid's come into preseason this week. So, like, if he didn't make the transfer, he actually would be back in preseason now.
Yeah.
Nias asks, we think that we will win the Leagues Cup? Generally speaking, like, how did this performance, and maybe throw in what we've seen so far from the rest of the MLS, how does that make you feel about this tournament going forward?
No. I don't think we win if we play like this. We cannot win if we play like this. This was gritty. It was fun to watch. We did some very good stuff, but a better team would actually beat us in the night. If you play Monterrey, well, it's not going to work. So,
I think generally I've been very impressed and surprised by Liga MX so far in this tournament. They have come to play, and the travel, let me stop here. I didn't think we paid much attention to the group stage last year or the year before because the only thing that mattered was our little group.
Exactly.
And so we only paid attention to the Liga MX teams in our group, and then whoever made it to the knockout rounds, like, that's who we cared about. But now that we're paying more attention, like, Liga MX is just balling out so far. Orlando City might be about to get a win. Minnesota looks like they'll beat Querétaro, but actually Orlando City gave up the goal.
Pumas Orlando is 1-1.
Minnesota has a chance to beat Querétaro. I will just say Querétaro is the worst team in Liga MX. Necaxa beat Atlanta United 3-1. So that said, Real Salt Lake is beating Club America right now 1-0. Liga MX has come to play, which means A, it will be easier to get through to the knockout rounds, I think, from the MLS side. Very difficult from the Liga MX side. B, I wonder if as the tournament goes on, they start getting sick of the travel, and maybe it does come back to bite them like it has in years past. But they're going back home all the time now, unlike the last couple years where it was just like a long break and they were staying at hotels for like 3 weeks the first year, and that really drains you. So I wouldn't be surprised if Liga MX comes out of this tournament having really crushed it. So I don't even think this is an Inter Miami conversation. I think this is like Inter Miami has to be above the rest of the MLS if they want to have a real chance to win this game, not just be the best of the MLS.
Exactly.
Because I think Liga MX is coming for this one. And so, like you said, Inter Miami has to take their game to another level if they want to win this tournament, because that's a level that will take them beyond what other MLS teams are capable of right now. Elmer says Messi just said that he feels better the more he plays. He had last weekend off, the reason for a slow start. What do you think of Messi's performance? Because I thought he was pretty good.
I thought he was very good. I didn't think he was off the pace by any means in the first few minutes, if he says so. I thought he was doing everything really well. And it was just a matter of finding that finesse at the end. But he got into so many dangerous positions and produced two goals from that. So good for him.
Gian from Messi and Co says, "What a win! Who had the better finish off of a Messi assist, Telasco or Chelo?"
Chelo.
Telasco almost messed it up, man.
I know. I was going to say Telasco had the Allende syndrome where he sort of bounced it off his feet before he got it in. So that was a bit of a iffy one.
Naya says, "Will we ever get a penalty? We'll find out next year." There was one, I think, on Jordi Alba that I think maybe was worth looking at again.
Yeah.
But we didn't
not getting a
another
penalty
look.
this season. Yeah. What if we actually go through the entire season without getting a single penalty? Has that ever happened before?
Well, just to be clear, we got one against Cavalier in the CONCACAF Champions Cup.
No,
in the MLS.
In the MLS, yeah.
I don't know. We're the only
I reckon
team that
we
hasn't
could
gotten
go
one
the
this year.
entire season. Yeah.
Maybe. Luis says, Alas keeper is the reason it wasn't 4-1. Crema would have been 5-1 if he got there for Alba's pass. I don't think it was the Atlas keeper. I think we missed shots. Like we put it wide or high or whatever. Like Suarez had 2 or 3 real opportunities that he put wide. He had another one that was saved. I think Segovia had a nice opportunity that he puts high and wide. So, yeah, Anton says we substantially underperformed our XG. I don't have that on SofaScore because they generally don't have that for the Leagues Cup, but maybe Apple TV showed it. That, I think, would check out.
Yeah.
Abhishek with a great point. There's a lot of parallels to the first time Inter Miami played in the Leagues Cup. They played at Chase Stadium against a Liga MX team. They scored first. They conceded an equalizer. It was a game where we were introducing a global superstar and world champion, and we got a last-minute game winner. And our goalkeeper was awesome in that game. History repeating itself. So maybe we're off base on this. Maybe we're about to go on a run.
Who knows?
I will say that tournament we got to play a bunch of MLS teams, and we're gonna have to really earn the right to play another MLS team.
For sure.
Taryn says, "Can IMCF bring anyone who can finish chances this season?" But Jeffrey Poole says echoes of 2023, which is exactly what I was saying. Do you have more confidence in Rocco now than you did?
I will say, I was thinking to myself,
I was
going to say, for a third choice keeper, he's performing very well. So good for him. Confidence is everything.
I thought he looked really good. I thought he looked confident. Yeah. I thought he looked cool. I thought he looked good in this game. He would be one of my top performers for sure. Sean says, "Can we talk about how Benja is the first homegrown with 100 games played?" Well deserved. He's been a sensation.
And getting better.
His first start. I remember that Columbus Crew game where he was our best player. He got an assist to Leo Campana back in early 2023. I think it may have been his second start, and he was our best player as a number 10. And so here we are, 100 games later. He was good in this game, by the way. I saw someone in the chat say he wasn't good. I thought he was good.
Very good. Yeah, very sharp. Just looks a whole different player, I think. Oh, yes, guys. Now might be the time to announce my private anti-Suarez podcast that I've set up. I will send you guys the link in the chat for that.
Naya says Saur is going to flame Suarez in the private after the game on his secret podcast. Sean says, "So far we're the only MLS team to win. Minnesota's 60-ish minutes and winning. They were up 2-1, but now it looks like it's they were up 2-0. Now it looks like it's 2-1. So, and again, I'll remind you, Querétaro is the worst of the Liga MX teams in this tournament. Antonio says Suarez was solid tonight, probably one of his better games, which is sad, low bar. I do think the thing with Suarez is it's interesting. Sometimes you want to see him be creative. Sometimes you want to see him be a finisher. Sometimes you want to see him be clinical. And it's when he gets caught in the middle is where I really think he sometimes struggles. He was creating chances for himself, but he was not clinical in the ways that we would hope he would be. This, I didn't feel was a good game from Suarez.
He just looks clunky. Well, he looked clunky earlier as well, but when it doesn't come off, it looks worse, I guess.
Naya says, who do you think will top the table for MLS besides Messi? I'm sorry, besides Miami.
I'm not sure. It feels like every team has a loss in them somehow or the other. So
We were talking about a couple days ago how you might need 9 points to get in, and you probably would get left out with 6 or 7. I think your 6 points, you're fine. But the way
imagine
this
what
has
the
played
Liga
out so
MX
far,
teams are thinking on that
I
side of
know.
the table, where everyone's
know.
like, where are these wins coming from?
we just knocked out Atlas. I'm fairly confident we just knocked out Atlas. So I guess who plays Atlas in the final game? Tunde says, we've just seen Mascherano's template going forward. Sub extra midfielders for Allende and Segovia, and maybe sometimes Fafa. I think you're spot on, Tunde. Like, that's our front two are never going to come out. Our midfield two are never going to come out. Our back two are never going to come out. Obviously, our goalkeeper is going to never come out. Chelo and Jordi Alba are never going to come out. And so we're really actually talking about a team that has 9 players playing 90 minutes every game. We might get some rotation in terms of the back two. Maybe Ian Frey comes in and there's some rotation at right back. But like this feels like a very stagnant plan right now. But we will see. We'll see.
But also, this team needs a lot of fixes tactically. The personnel are all there, but tactically, this team needs to be set up very differently from what it's doing right now. I think the front line are all over each other. We saw last game against Cincinnati when Suarez playing that false 9 role worked really well because we had 2 really dynamic forwards. Segovia on the pitch in the center really helps, gets really involved, but that basically takes away any penetration in the forward line. Allende's bouncy trampoline touch doesn't help his case. So every time you give him the ball, it's going to the moon. So what's the point? And then you have a old crutchy Suarez who may or may not show up and may or may not do something spectacular. So you need stability in that forward line. And the only way to play this is a 3-man backline on a 4-4-2 diamond formation. And I think you have to utilize that as much as you can. Right now, the way we're set up with that 4-4-2 will not work in the long run.
Mario says, "Where's Phil Neville with the diamond midfield, please?"
Yeah.
This has been Mascherano's thing, like all year, and so he's not going to change it, which is just terrifyingly stubborn and frustrating as an Inter Miami fan. So, but listen, guys, we just had a game.
We just won the game. We just won the game. Throw the negativity out of the door. Lujan is the best player in this team for another 24 hours.
And, you know, Sarakti says, Vamos. I'm stuck in the parking lot, but the atmosphere was wild. Vamos,
it did
Miami.
seem really fun.
I would love to know what it was like as you see the goal and then see it called offsides and then see the VAR overturn it, because then you get to celebrate twice, right?
Exactly.
You get the high twice. I'm sure that was awesome. Jerry says, honestly, I'm sick and tired of Mascherano's BS to not play Bright over Redondo. If we had gone on to lose in PKs, we would be saying, why Redondo over Bright? we like, it's a fine margin between being happy and excited like we are right now and a vastly different emotion.
I'm telling you, man, I had a completely different mindset coming into this. And then within 30 seconds, I just had to switch my mind to being happy about the result, which is a great result, by the way.
Sean has an interesting comment. Inter Miami is the best starting 11 in North America, but there are better teams on the continent, better teams as opposed to individual talents. And I think that's interesting, because I don't think anyone would argue we've maximized the potential of the players in terms of how we get them to work together. And B, I'm not even sure you have the best 11 players on Inter Miami on the field on a regular basis.
There's some credence to that point, actually.
Yeah. Jerry says, I'm dying to see Boosie as a center back that organizes the back, then Segovia in the middle. By the way, I wanted to say this about your point. Suarez looked good as like a playmaker and distributor on Saturday night with 2 pacey runners in behind, and Fafa and Allende on both sides. And then we saw him play more as like a false 9 earlier in this game. And I was thinking to myself, like, did they just think, oh, this looks good, let's try it again, and just assume it would work with vastly different personnel? That was...
Probably did, because he
know.
started the game behind Messi.
Ashley says 36 goal contributions for
He's
Messi
not
counting.
getting to 100. That's insane.
What I will say
Getting
is...
100 in a calendar year is difficult, let alone the season.
What I will say is we asked a bunch of Inter Miami people at the beginning of the season how many goal contributions is he going to get, and almost all of them were under 50. Now, Ashley said 100, and I respect the boldness, but I said 65, and I feel like we're heading towards above 50, closer to 65. That's all I'll say. Eden says Messi got a 9.9 SOFA score without any goals. Pumas and Orlando is going to PKs. Sean says goal differential is going to be huge on the MLS side. Tunde said, if such an anti-Suarez podcast exists, repeat after me, we will be there. Upcode says, you guys are too negative. This team's talent is nuts. Watch them cook. You know, I think that's like the reason, though, for the negativity, because you could see the talent. You could see how awesome it could be. And if you just made a couple adjustments, you could see something truly, truly special. And also, we're very spoiled, and we admit that. Anton says, what'd you think of the 4-2-3-1? It didn't look much different than what we've been doing.
It didn't look like a 4-2-3-1 to me.
I think it's semantics, whether you want to call Allende and Segovia forwards or wide midfielders. And because it sits back in a 4-4-2, and then they get forward, and it's sort of a 4-2-3-1. But it's just
the positional discipline of this team is slightly off, by the way, because so many times Messi was on the right hand side, but then there was so much space in the middle. So, we'll see.
Yamila says, "How do you see Rocco in penalties?"
Yeah, 100% record.
One thing I will say is, I thought we were going to penalties, obviously, up until the last 3 minutes of the game. And I had a ton of confidence Rocco was going to come through for us. I don't know if a 90-minute performance could change my opinion on a player so much as Rocco did today, but I felt like we were going to win because of Rocco if we went to penalties. But that's still a drop point, and it's much better to win it like this.
Yep.
Antonio says Inter Miami's one Tata Martino short of winning MLS Cup this year. I don't know about Tata Martino, but certainly like a better coach would be, you'd feel much better. Okay, let's do this last one, and then we'll shake it up a little bit. Vice Rosa says, do you think the MLS fans and League MX fans going to team up to hate on Miami because of our signing of DePaul? I think everyone wants to
us
see
against
Inter Miami
the world,
lose.
baby. Yeah.
Well, I think everyone wants to see Inter Miami lose because they know we have a team that's capable of beating their team in this tournament. And so there's no national pride. There's none of that in this type of format. It's all, hopefully all the good teams lose so that we have an easier path. So, yeah. Okay, Saur, I know you wanted to say something, and then we'll shift tones here in a bit. I give the floor to you.
So I saw everyone's comments on our last video, and I just want to say a huge thanks for everyone who wished me a happy birthday. I really, really appreciate it. And honestly, this has been a fantastic year for how far we've gone with this podcast and all the time that we get to spend with you guys. Every single conversation, discussion, debate, shouting matches that we've had have been worth it, have been fun. And watching Inter Miami as a fan has been elevated, and my experience has just gone up exponentially by being involved with every single one of you. So thank you so much. Thank you for wishing me a happy birthday, and thank you for just sticking around and being a part of this community, and for listening to us two knuckleheads, or one knucklehead and one bozo, talk about Inter Miami, and hopefully a lot more to come. So thank you very much.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. We're going to end it there. 45 minutes. Inter Miami gets a 2-1 victory that just might be the difference between Inter Miami going to the second round and not. And it's all thanks to Chelo Wegan. So flowers to Chelo. Keep him in your thoughts tonight because he was there for us when we needed him. And we will be back tomorrow for a full game breakdown. And until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Enjoy this win. We will see you guys tomorrow. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Do us a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Since our first viewer, sharing this with you all has been the very best part. So from the beginning until the end, thank you for being a part of this and have a wonderful day.